instrumental on, go to YouTube and pull up a beat or something.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Is that what it said? We're playing copyrighted music?
Yeah, something. It went quick, but something along those lines. They don't play.
Everybody.
The moderators don't play.
Wow. My little song in the background was offensive?
Man, come on, y'all messing up. Listen.
I'm not even about this.
The moderators don't play.
Okay, that was crazy.
No warning, no like, nothing.
Hey Jennifer, thank you. Apparently the music I was playing was copyrighted, so they didn't want me to be great. Like, I don't even know what is happening.
They are not playing.
Like, that is crazy.
I guess they thought this was some kind of listening party or something. No. They shut that thing down.
They were not about it. That was not cool. Hey, Jen, thank you again. You are like the best. Jennifer's like one of my biggest supporters in everything, in every bloody thing that I do. So I appreciate you so much for joining. Hello, ASAP Basketball. Is that what that says? What up?
What's up? Thank you for joining.
What up?
No longer be playing copyrighted material.
Apparently, they were not liking that.
You learn. Hey, when you know better, you do better.
Yeah, we can't be playing the songs and the music, so we good. We're just gonna wait a couple of minutes. Thank you for joining our first show. We hope it will not be the last, because Instagram does not want me to be great, and I am.
They can't. We're not copyrighted. So
like, Instagram does not want me to be great. Pass me your phone.
Talking.
I'm just sending it out to let people know that we have gone live. I've actually apparently joined myself, so. That's how committed I am to the show that I joined.
Which Dre? That's my guy Dre Smith? For sure. Okay, man, look here,
He said for sure.
For sure. He already know what it is. Hey, again, another proud Jamaican.
Bro, you're Jamaican.
Shout out to my boy Dre, another proud Jamaican man. Doing well.
Why is this thing? Because your phone's so loud, I don't know how to turn this thing down.
He down there in South Florida doing it, what he do.
I appreciate the Jamaican
love. My people's always, man.
I appreciate the Jamaican love.
Obviously, my boy do the same. I'm so glad you made it, man.
I'm like sending just a bunch of people just so they know we've gone live.
We don't really got no format for tonight.
We really do not. It's an intro of why the hell y'all even need to be
why we
listening to us,
doing this,
why we're doing this, what it's about.
And
you gotta put the flag up. He knows all day, every day. I'm about to buy a big flag for this house. Like, he doesn't even recognize what's about to happen. Like, we are not playing in this feed. Like, this is literally like Jamaica versus America, because he likes to say all of my Jamaican rules and what's going on. So what's up?
Mine.
We're gonna give it one more minute and then we are going to start. This is our intro show. It's just to get a little bit about us. And, we're not young people. And I think, people think that dating is a young person's world, and as you get older than you used to be, because I'm not old. You called me old last night. I was so vexed. So yes, you told me. Yes, you said because I had the Maybelline makeup. It was for old people, and I was so mad when I woke up this morning. Not call me old. Like I still have Megan Thee Stallion knees, and this man over here calling me old. Like I can still drop it. So, anyways, but we don't need to all of that. Thank you for joining F Your Feelings. We are about to get started.
We're just gonna be yapping a little bit and see who. Really, we would do this with just me and her joining into our own joint, honestly.
Pretty much.
Because we just...
we can talk.
Yeah, we talk. And we think that our dynamic is a little different. It's not all of that, clutch your pearls, watch how you talk to me type of behavior,
Hey, Duke, what's going on? Thank you for joining, Duke.
Again, our relationship has one primary rule, and really not a ton of rules, actually, but one primary rule, and that's just no disrespect, So, sometimes we toe the line, you know how that go, but it's always in love.
Do you think we've told the lie?
I don't think so, but you know, it can get spicy sometimes. You know?
I am spicy.
And I can be mean, so.
Yeah, you are mean.
It is what it is. But I think that direct communication is the best way to figure out what's going on. You know? And we both see it the same way, so it kind of helps. You know?
So, you know, we want to say, hey, Tony, all the way from Jamaica. Tony's actually joining from Jamaica. Yes, I'm going to have all the Jamaicans in here today because we want to start with there's Kemba. What up, Kemba? Wagwan. Okay. So I'm going to have all my peoples up in here today. But I just wanted to say, you know, I think it was important to start this show because seems to be a lack of communication in relationships. And I think when people hear the way we communicate, a lot of people do absolutely clutch their pearls and go, oh my God, I can't believe they talk to each other like that. And it's not in a rude way. It's just in a very direct way. Jennifer's actually joining from Jamaica too. They both moved down during the pandemic. So, you know, I got my peoples in the house because he wants to talk about all these, you know, Jamaican rules that I have. But anyways, I digress. So, again, I think there has been a communication issue in relationships, and we have such an upfront communication style that I was like, you know what? I think it'd be interesting to actually do this show and talk about how we communicate. And some of it really is where Rob has actually told me, fuck your feelings. Real talk. Okay, like the man in the middle of a conversation was like, fuck your feelings. And I was like, perfect name for a show.
And again, it's not really that it's, you know, fuck your feelings. Like, I don't care about them, or I just, you know, stomp on them with my boot and drug them into the ground. But it's like, sometimes your feelings get in the way of objectives. Sometimes your feelings get in the way of reality. And in those situations, fuck your feelings. You gotta get over it, you know. Again, I came up in sports. Coaches don't care about your feelings, man. You know, they would tell you some straight wild stuff sometimes, you know what I mean? Like, to the effect of, like, you suck, bro. Like, yo, I don't know what you want today, but you suck. And I've had a couple of really horrible communication relationships. So when it came around that I was able to come across somebody that could really vibe with like a zero tolerance type of attitude, like, cause I could just as easily be like a single dad, just kind of doing me, not really worried about it, you know. But we came across each other, and it was like undeniable, and we kind of rocked out, and we're going almost into a year of it, and it's been like, you know, we started from the bottom, now we're here type of deal, straight up and down. So, and I think that fucking your feelings has been a part of the reason why we still here. So, you know, it's not always an easy pill to swallow. Sometimes I get in my feelings, you know, and just be like, you know, I'm a Taurus. I'm stubborn.
Oh, Jesus, Lord, is he ever?
Yeah, I admit that. Sometimes it'd be like Big Worm is principalities, and I just be ready to die over some petty shit, and it's just like that doesn't help in relationships either. You know what I'm saying? So fuck my feelings, fuck her feelings.
That's fuck the feelings. Period.
Focus on the goals and the objectives that we kind of came together up under, you know what I'm saying, and make sure that's the agenda we pushing, you know, and yeah.
Hey, Namagetti.
Hello.
The besties in the house.
So, and sometimes it equals some interesting banter, for sure.
So for those who don't know our origin story, I think it's an interesting one. And you know what's so funny? Again, people always say dating is a young person's game. And of course, Kevin Samuels has come on the scene, and, you know, people realize how doomed, I guess, some people's dating is. But, you know, unlike some of the women who show up on Kevin Samuels, I had already gone through the therapy. And as a Jamaican woman, we're groomed very differently. Must I say that a lot of American women were actually groomed in a very different way. Like we are actually groomed to, in some way, serve our family, which includes our men. So it's not difficult for a Jamaican woman to fall into more of a traditional, I guess that's what they're calling it, traditional wife role or traditional role at home or whatever the case might be. Yeah. So we actually met almost a year ago on Tinder. Jesus, Lord of mercy. So, yes, Tinder. Ooh. So, I was in Toronto at the time, and Rob was in Rochester, and yeah, we swiped and matched. It was interesting because his profile was this very scowling face. It's a very serious scowling face, but apparently I like scowling faces, and that wasn't that. I saw the humor in his post, and it was basically like, you actually put your height in centimeters. You didn't even put it in like 6'9". He put it in centimeters. So then I had to go freaking calculate the centimeters. It's like, oh, he's 6'9", and he's like, and I used to play a little ball, but it ain't got nothing to do with nothing now. And I was like, I like that. I mean, my kind of guy, and the sarcasm was there. And our first conversation, I think on Tinder, was October 18th, and our anniversary is October 28th. So if you can do math very quickly, it took us 10 days from swiping, meeting, having a conversation to actually being in an actual relationship across borders during a pandemic when the borders were closed, and instead of me able to do a 3-hour drive, I had to take like a 7-hour plane ride, 2 planes to get to damn Rochester to finally meet him. So again, Tinder, swiping, scowling face. Listen, I know he was just looking for some ass.
First off, I was going to take this as a brief opportunity to just point out, one, I'm off center as usual because then come inside. You're so annoying. And second, to point out one of those Jamaican things, y'all see how she talking with her hands and just all waving in front of me and stuff like that. And I've become accustomed to it, but I what you gonna do, So, but back to the point. Yeah, absolutely. Like again, that's another funny story, with the infamous comment, when we were...
Which comment?
The niggas in my position. So yeah, I mean, it wasn't that serious. I was not looking to be...
See, what Duke is saying, well, usually people on Tinder are looking for ass.
Just keep it not like that. And it's like a real low effort type of vibe too. Like, I mean, I was not looking for someone that would be like changing my life or nothing like that. Please, no disrespect to anyone that finds that type of chemistry, but yeah, that ain't been nowhere near my experience. And there's been some stuff where I've just been like, I ain't even getting out of the car.
Damn.
Sorry, but it's rough out there. That's kind of, again, the point of the show. It's rough out here.
It is tough in these streets. Like, relationships, you know what? It was surprising to me to meet someone that I connect with so deeply on Tinder. Because Tinder is supposed to be shallow, right? Like, it's a shallow thing. You're swiping because of pictures. Most of the people don't even read the profile. I was very big on reading profiles. If you had nothing to say, I actually didn't swipe on you. Because I wanted to at least know something to see if we had some kind of commonality or something of interest. Like, I was like pulling for straws. And so I would always read somebody's profile. I would never actually swipe just because they look good and good, bad, whatever it is. So when I connected with him...
Appreciate it. I should do you. I say Arch and you. Yeah. Yeah. Ain't nothing to be ashamed about. Like, it's just an interesting story, but like, not dead ass though. Like, coming into tonight, that was something that if people know me, I'm a private dude. Like, I don't really like my business all out there like that. And so that was literally up until today, I had trepidation about the shit. I was just kind of like,
where did you? You never shared that with me.
I don't share a lot of my stuff. Unlike you, I figure out some of my own things. I don't make you participate in my drums. But yeah, or just like it's just a lot of things about my life that straight up and down, like I'm not ashamed of them, but to be honest, they messy as fuck. You know what I'm saying? So.
Okay, hold on, Duke. No. Give me a little bit more credit. So for those who haven't read what Duke says, he said both of you were looking for a pass-through and now we're watching The Love Boat. I'm dead, first of all.
Crazy, though.
I actually, here is my thing. I was not really looking for anything. That was the part. I was passing time. No. It's funny enough, during that time, I was actually celibate. It was the lockdown. Like, I wasn't having nobody come near me. Like, we don't want nobody under my crotches, right? Like, I don't know what you got. There's COVID and all kinds of other things out there in these streets. Like, I was just passing time because realistically, during COVID, you didn't even think you were going to meet anybody because everybody was everybody was locked up. So I actually wasn't even looking for that because I was locked up in my house. But when I came across him and I think it was our first conversation. Thank you, Telly. She says my fave couple. I think our first conversation from me, which was like 3-4 hours, like it was a long conversation, and we talked.
And I don't even like talking on the phone. Like
no,
that.
You don't.
Like, I really don't. Like you know that now. That
no,
you're in
you
a
don't.
relationship.
Yeah.
I'd be like, can you just like, can I talk about it when I get home or something? Like it's just I've been that way my whole life. I'm not a huge phone conversationalist.
So when you get a man for the first time speaking to you for hours on end and he wasn't texting, and I think that was my biggest thing about dating in this era. Why am I sound old? I'm only 41. But dating was that.
What up, man?
Was that. Hello, Deborah.
The illest producer in North Carolina, y'all. Definitely Deborah B. That's my guy all day.
I have to brab everybody.
I'm sorry if I don't recognize you, it's because I didn't see you pop up. But I really want to shout everybody individually that pops in and just take an interest in my situation and whatever, because we're gonna have fun, man. We're gonna do this on Thursday nights.
Hold on, I'm trying to curate the life situation
here.
The
wild and the state of teens, and you know.
And I
can guarantee that, like, even if we like have a rough Wednesday night, you know, we'll be on here Thursday, and we'll probably like it's kind of cathartic, it's kind of therapeutic to, like, for me, that's what was crazy is like, I'm not, like I said, I'm a private dude. I'm not really with the posting heavy on social media and all that other stuff. But like one of the things I do miss from my playing days is like the juice of like being interviewed right after a game, you know what I'm saying? And like getting asked sometimes stupid questions, sometimes good questions, like, but having to answer on the cuff and like fly by the seat of your pants. And like, I enjoy that type of interactivity where it's just, you know, you line up your questions and I'll knock them down as long as it don't feel like no interrogation or nothing like that. So I'm not that way with just any and everybody, but when the engagement and interest is really mutual, you know, like I really do just like that sit down, just ask your questions and because I'm an open book to those that are close in my circle, you know. I'm not a big like high-end like secrets type of dude or nothing like that. It's, you know, it's a lot of people that say they know you, especially coming from
them to know you,
sports and stuff like that. But bro,
ignore
like,
me, everybody.
we
like
had
I
a handful of conversations. I don't like you know, and I would, yeah. It's just we all know those type of relationships, those type of situations where it's just
I'm the worst. People
that feel like they qualified to. I mean, it's people that know me at like 15, 14 that feel like they qualified to speak on me. And again, that's crazy to me, but to each their own. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can speak on me about when I was 14 or 15, but I don't understand how. But I think people who do that tend to be people that are like in real stagnant type circles. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't a lot of forward progress with their business or their personality. You know, I come from, you know, humble beginnings. I'm gonna just leave it at that. We'll get into the other stuff on another show or some shit.
So, I I agree. Duke and Tony were saying the same thing. Anybody who basically wants to date you isn't trying to just text you all day long, right?
Well, no, that's the thing. Like, if you really got a chemistry with a person, you trying to get around them. Like, that's nature, right? Like, that is I guess it's like that whole heavy rotation type of vibe. Like, when it's, you know, you rotating, like, multiple people, you kind of, like, got like a dating carousel going on, or like, you know, like we like to tease the chicks that date to go for
meals,
for like Yelp reviews, and so they just, you know, they just dating just to go like, oh, I met PF Chang or whatever, like, again, and that's corny, like PF Chang who ain't been there like a million times, like that's like.
Stop! Some people haven't been to PF Chang's. They're not fortunate. Stop it.
It's not Applebee's.
Oh, stop it. There's a different type of energy to when you talk on the phone or meet in person. Absolutely agree.
Yeah. Or you could be vibing on the
app,
like
or
on
the text
app or whatever, and then you get around the person and it's just like, oh no.
There's silence. There's
ain't happening. I think that like we watching this show on Netflix, The Circle. You know what I mean? They done got me pulled into it. Like, but it's interesting because it's like these people they sequestered or whatever in these rooms, and they have the opportunity to play themselves, or they have an opportunity to play someone else in Catfish, and like the dynamics. Because again, it's kind of like almost like get COVID. They stay in the room. They got no other contact really. So the emotions and the energy that they would revive, you can see people vibrating off of a good message sometimes. And like, you know, I think we all don't cap. Like we've all felt some of that in some way, type of shape or form or whatever.
But then you speak to the person.
But then you get to the like. Fantasy always better than reality. Like I can tell you as a person who has checked off a couple fantasies, like. Every single time the reality was short of what you had in your mind. Like that's just the nature of it. Like that's why it's like, again, fuck your feelings, because you be all in your feelings and just what's the reality of the situation.
When you meet the person,
you know
right?
What I'm saying? Once you come out that little relationship bubble that you always go into when you start out with somebody, it's like, again, we when we decided to link up, it was like, yo, we kind of worked it out to where we was just going to take a week and just kind of focus on getting to know each other a little bit, and then kind of see where the situation would go from there, because it was promising. I don't think either one of us was really on it like, I'm about to change my life or no, you know, like.
Yeah, because here's the thing. So again, you know, met on Tinder in October. I guess swiped, had our first conversation October 18th. In a relationship by October 28th. I'm in Rochester in November. Stayed there for a little bit. We did a whole road trip. We went to New York. Like, we just really vibed and connected, and all of the amazing things that happened. But of course, you're going through the honeymoon period. I came back home, he left Rochester, came to Phoenix, and then it was like, yo, I think we should just do this. And doing this required a move.
Yeah, it was like, and it was interesting.
I was
like,
going to move.
Neither one of us individually felt like we were catching the breaks that we wanted to be catching, and things like that. And just the way that our communication over these, you know, that duration, it was going was just like, you know, like you're kind of in a position where you're rebuilding your life. You know, you had left a job and had some things going on and some transitions. I was in a similar space. So it was like, yo, if we both in that similar space of like rebuilding kind of from the ground up, then why not?
Might as well do it together.
Do it together, you know what I mean? And we both have had like significant progress in the last year, and I don't think that's no coincidence, you know what I mean? She's been extremely supportive of what I've been trying to do. I've been really, to the best of my nature, trying to be.
Yes, I laugh.
Be supportive of what she's doing, and like, it's been working.
And so again, it's interesting when I hear, you know, dating is hard, and when you get into your 30s and 40s, how difficult it is. And in full, you know, I'm 41, he's 45. We met when I was 40 and he was 44. And yes, dating, I think, period, is hard. I don't think, again, it depends on if you're dating with intention or not. I think once we met each other, we realized we had to be intentional about each other. I wasn't necessarily, again, on the app to be anything. I was COVID and I was bored. But once you meet that person, you have to be intentional about the person. And so there was a level of vulnerability that I had with this man that I can say I hadn't had with anybody. Like, I was kind of, this is me, this is who I am, this is my life, this is what I'm going through. You want it? Because, like, if you're going to walk into something, I want you to understand what you're walking into. Because he was right. I was in a transitional phase of my life, and it was like, take it or leave it, this is who I am. And there was no time to waste, because I think there's a lot of wasted time where people want to play games. And I was at a point in my life, like, I'm not trying to play games, especially when you meet somebody with such undeniable chemistry. Why play games? I didn't see the point of it.
For sure.
Bye, Tony. Thank you.
For sure. No. Thanks for joining. We appreciate it so much, man.
So, and go on, babe. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, and like, you know, I remember at the time, you know, like, with those feelings and whatnot of, like, you know, kind of checking myself of, like, there's no, like, this probably is not the best way for me to be thinking about how I should be looking at things or going about things. Like, I thought it was in my best interest to focus on myself and being single and doing what I had to do to get my life back to where I felt like it needed to be. And I remember feeling like
I shouldn't be in a relationship right now.
It was like I couldn't deny the fact that you were like extremely like. And one thing, okay, I would say she made me kind of formulate something that I didn't really realize in any of my previous relationships, but like, it's kind of really important in my perspective, because just being the type of dude that I am, that your political ideologies are kind of aligned. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you strip it all away, you know, like, she's honestly kind of militant, and so am I. You know what I mean? Like, all bullshit aside. And, like, you know, I don't, you know, wear no nationalist flags or no crazy nuts, nothing like that. But it's, you know, I think that that's part of our issues, is where we don't believe that we have adequate things to be proud of. And I'm like, we again, sidebar conversation, another show. But so when we would talk about, and again, you know, the last 2-3 years have been extremely interesting political, because people have really kind of come out with their true feelings of, like, about situations. You know, it was like we went through tremendous amounts of, like, political upheaval in that year too. And it just really had me looking at certain people like, ew, like, yo, what kind of person are you? Like, I get it as politics and everything, but, like, what kind of person are you that you could support that type of platform or that type of viewpoint? And, yo, if you like it, I love it. Do you?
But we don't need to do us together.
We don't have to be in the same vicinity or none of that. You know, like, I'm not big on trying to be around people that don't want to be around me. You dig? Like, so however it plays out, however y'all want to swing it, it don't matter, because I'm focused on those who tend to enjoy and want to be around and deal with people who look and act and behave and move like I do, or like she do, or like I follow shit, you know, because again, these are people that we both know personally. Like, this ain't no news flash. Like, I didn't, you know, wake up with my little dashiki or nothing like that one day. You know, again, it's nothing new. But it kind of really got solidified in that political climate of the last couple of years. So this female coming along, that I remember saying to her at one point, like, yo, this sounds crazy, but, like, it almost feel like I could let you speak for me. You know what I mean? Like, you almost, like, when we, like, you would say exactly what I would say about certain situations when we were speaking in these realms of, like, decorum and politics and just how people should be treated and things along those lines.
And that was, I think that was a huge shift for me too. It was a huge moment for me, because I've always believed that your partner should represent who you are, right? Like, if we are in a room, we should be able to separate and come back together, and the people will think even more highly of us after meeting the person we have decided to be with, right? Like, I shouldn't be afraid to let him loose in a room full of important people or a business meeting or with my family or so forth. And so many people get into relationships and they cling on to their partner because they're like, they can't move around in this circle. Like, meeting him, I realized he was one of the smartest men I had ever met in my life. Like, he is like, you are, babe. Like, he is supremely smart. And the more I got to know about his life circumstances and how he grew up and the things he had to go through, I admired him even more because his life was far from easy, but he had made so much out of it when other people didn't. Oh, that's Duke. Duke is one of my people from my We Rise group.
Oh, that's what's up.
Politics and religion. So Duke says politics and religion are a big deal in relationships. Commonalities are things that relationships need, but differences create balance. And I agree with that. So our difference is very much culturally. We love to talk about that very much. Culturally, we're very different, but it works.
I just cave to, like, honestly, it's like she gets to run these four walls, and I just get to be wild child outside in the streets. So that kind of works for us. And it took, we clashed on that some because I'm just like a 900-pound gorilla around the house.
He's like a bull in a china shop that wants to write everything, and I like order. My man told me before the show, he's the talent. He just needs to show up like 2 minutes before. We argue every week. We have another show that we're on, and every damn week this man is like 2 minutes. If you've seen one of our promo videos, I'm literally sitting there in an empty chair because he thinks he's talent and I should do the rest. But I digress. But it works.
Yeah, you can jump in, cuz what up, man?
What's going on? But you know what? It's finding something that works for both people. And, if you guys don't have any questions, we're actually going to do a question answer game. He has no idea what these questions are in here. I put them in a bowl and we've got to answer them. Honestly, we don't know what it is. You guys can throw out some questions. But, again, I really wanted to display that you can find amazing love at any time in your life. But I think you have to be intentional and you have to be committed. I had to be committed to everything that he had planned. I couldn't be kind of wishy-washy about what I needed to do. Like I needed to. It was tough moving. I'm gonna be straight.
And especially dealing with me, like for real though. Because I'm almost authoritarian sometimes, you know what I mean? Like when it comes to certain stuff, like I said, the stubbornness, And again, because I have been in relationships where so much stuff had went a way that I didn't want it to go or didn't believe it should have went, but it still went that way. I feel like, as a man, it's like you driving the car, you're responsible for the car. So if it crashed, like I want it to be my fault at least, not she over there grabbing the wheel like, what you doing? Or it's like the driver training car where it's two wheels over there and she over there driving, won't let go of the wheel. Like, so so much of the stuff where it's like what I thought as a younger man I wanted out of relationships. Because again, I don't come, my mom and my dad were not like that together or nothing like that. I don't come from where I've seen a ton of like successful long-term relationships and like that. So like it was all a work in progress for me. I just knew I had a desire to be like a family-oriented type of dude. I'm not saying I was ever the guy that was like
in these streets
gonna be just like a straight whatever. Like I'm not the most straight-laced guy. I'm not the straightest arrow in the bunch. I'm glad that she supports and appreciates the fact that I color outside the line sometimes, but it's like that worked out for us though.
Well, Garcia is also saying it works because we're both emotionally intelligent. We knew when to move and stay still. That part, girl.
And you're not afraid to take the loss though. When you're not afraid to take a loss, because sometimes sometimes it's that stuff that's like you really need to say it, Whether it's her, whether it's me, whether it's our audience, whether it's male, female, they, thems, and whatever pronouns, whatever your pronouns. You know what I mean? Like,
sorry,
you just gotta say it, And if the person takes what you say as this needs to be the end of the relationship, then so be it. You know what I'm saying? Then just so be it. Because that's why relationships be getting haywire sometimes.
Because no one speaks to each other.
Say what they really say, but you'll run around and tell everybody, or you'll bottle it up inside, or you'll tell your pastor or your therapist or all these other folks, but like,
you don't tell your partner.
The person who has the most direct influence on it don't even really know your deepest, darkest kind of like sometimes.
Which is why, for those who weren't here in the beginning, this is why I said sometimes when people are privy to our conversations and are actually sitting and are listening, they're just kind of like, oh my God, like, what the hell? And it's just like, would you rather me not be honest with the person that I'm with? This is the man that I intend to like be with forever. Like, I'm not about to go bottle up or call my bestie or my mama or tell his mom or something. I'm going to tell him exactly how it is and we're going to deal with it. This is why, again, the show is called Fuck Your Feelings, because realistically, when we have conversations, I've had moments where I am in my feelings. He really says, babe, fuck your feelings. And when I stop in that moment and I remove the feelings, then I can deal with the issue at hand. Because the problem is we get all these feelings involved. And you know what? Like, people are selling this fairy tale idea of love. It's Disney's and rainbows and butterflies and all those different things. And that sounds great. And then women get into relationships and they can't deal with men being men. He's a man. I'm a woman. So I'm not going to expect him to handle me with soft kid gloves. When our daughter needs certain things, she doesn't go to him. There's certain things where she will not go to him. She goes to me. When there's other like daddy things, she goes to daddy. But 85% of the things, and for those who don't know, that she's actually my stepdaughter, but she calls me mom because I'm raising her. And so she goes, even though I'm not her biological mom, she can go to daddy, she's going 85% to mommy because mommy has what she needs in that moment. And so for me, it's like, shout out to Danny.
She's doing great. We got PTAs on Tuesday too.
Our daughter has all A's and she's killing it. The teachers were raving about her.
Girl. Like, it was awesome.
I was like pat on the hand, shred it to her. Anyway. She's doing really well. But anyways, I think it's one of those things where you can't be in a relationship with an alpha male but want him to have female traits. So that's what the issue I'm realizing that's going on in relationships is he's not soft, but he's not supposed to be. My man is 6'9" and a former professional basketball player. Where in the world did I think I was going to get some soft man who was going to cater to my every woman feeling? Does he love me? Absolutely. Does he provide for me? Absolutely. I don't quote unquote work in the traditional sense. I do a lot of work. I do 2 shows. I've written 7 books in a year. I take care of this entire house. I make sure everybody eats. Like, yes, I work, but the independent woman going out there, I did that. I was the woman. I was the regional manager, running a school. I was doing all this stuff. Okay, right, we're going to be rich. Yes, I feel you. We're going to be rich. I got 7 more books on the way. But I was doing all the independent woman stuff and making my own money and doing all of that, but I was a bitch. Nobody wanted me. No, on some real talk. I'm going to be honest for women who were watching. Like, old Sheba cut, this is my bestie saying, old Sheba, cut off when you don't like something and move on. New Sheba works through it and works on building. Proud of you. Thank you, best. This is my best friend who's known me since I was 18 years old. So it's 23 years of friendship. So she has seen me go through it all. And let me tell you, at the end, of course, you said I still like you. I know, girl. But I was quick to cut people off because for me, it was like, I don't need to deal with this. I don't need to deal with you. And thank God for therapy. And because, again, therapy is needed because we have so much trauma. Because when we met, I was ready for what he had and he needed what I had.
Man, I swear to God, that's a big part of it. Like, and you don't even really, like, I didn't understand, like, so much of, like, that old school, like, she stay in her lane, I stay in mine, and when we come together, it's like, it just works. But again, that's why I've made, like, crazy progress, is because I've been in relationships where the drama in the home, the strife in the home, in the relationship, that makes it harder to go to work. It makes it harder to keep on a good head and stay focused on what I'm doing when I'm grinding or when I'm moving out, whenever, like that's like my focus needs to be on the things that I do to provide for us, not on
the drama at home.
The drama or the pettiness of whatever she done concocted is she's upset about today. And I lived in that for way longer than I even ever thought I was the type of dude to do that. But again, we'll have other shows for all of these other things.
So Duke Nation saying a lot of relationships are built on unrealistic expectations. Amen to that, and a very poor foundation. It's good to see that you both understand who you both are and how to make it work on your terms. That key is work on our terms. Listen, our relationship structure is not for everyone. It doesn't work for everyone. And honestly, like my bestie said again, 23 years, so she's known me longer than half of my life. She's the godmother to my 20-year-old daughter. And so this is a long relationship. Old me and old him wouldn't have worked. But I had to work on me. And I think there is no shame as a woman to say you needed to work on yourself. Listen, I had no problems getting date, but I couldn't keep a man because part of me didn't care. But part of me had like pheromones of rage. Men were like, damn, like you are like a man killer. Like, why would you're a man. You don't need a man when you're stomping around here like a man. And let's be clear, I said it in my book. I have a book called No Handouts for Black Girls, for people that know. In my book, I say no straight man wants to date another man. And that's what a lot of us women look when we're talking about, I'm an independent woman, da-da-da. What I bring to the table is this, that, and the next thing. No, thanks, dude.
For sure.
Nami says it's what's worked for you, not others' options that are not in the relationship. Preach, right? Like, it is about finding the person that works for you. And we were in a space and time, and the universe, I believe the universe actually brought us together, because I still don't know, again, in Rochester, in Toronto, with everything that's going on, how these two people swiped in each other and made it work. But we do and we don't. And I actually couldn't see it working with anyone else. But because I also had worked on myself and I was prepared for him, right? I had prepared myself for the type of man I had said that I wanted. And the thing about it is, when you say you want something, be very specific, I would say, because the universe has a wicked sense of humor. So you want something, be prepared for it.
No, real talk, like there's times where like, I know like she said, she's kind of making me look like I just be running around screaming fuck your feelings all the time. But
I do not.
There's been times where I've been on that type of wave and I can see in her face like, yeah, like she got smoke. It ain't like she really dig what I'm saying, but she's taking it because she understands the message, and she's gonna like push down the just wanna, wave the finger wave and get back at me and tit for tat and all that. And she just kind of takes the impact of like, again, but that's your feelings. Now step outside your feelings and let's talk about this situation, and you'll probably start to line a bit back up with what I'm talking about. And like, I be saying crazy stuff sometimes, but I think like that's the yin and yang of it. Like a man kind of needs a woman's influence to bring him in, to kind of like chill him out. And in my opinion, a woman kind of, especially in these days, needs a man's influence to kind of like, kind of check y'all sometimes, for lack of a better way of putting it. We have these discussions. Sometimes she's just straight bugging.
Oh, I am.
Straight bugging.
No, real talk.
And I know in my head, I'm like, there's no way. Like, if I actually behave the way you like acting right now, you lose all respect for me. So I definitely like Matumbo that shit. Like, hell nah.
Here's the thing, what you always say, he's like when he knows that I'm right, he takes his talking to.
Absolutely.
But the moment I step across that, he's like, do you really want to? And so there's a moment where I know I've said one too many words, and I'm like, okay.
That's the face I'm talking about, where she's just like, it's taking all the self-control she has to not say nothing else, but she don't say nothing else. And like that keeps it from going.
And here's my thing, because for me, at the end of the day, and I'm gonna say what you said. To me, I think your home is supposed to be your solace. Your home is the place that you're supposed to want to go to. And growing up Jamaican, you know, you eat dinner together in a traditional Jamaican home. Like, and again, you know, we don't, when growing up, we didn't have a bunch of these trappings that, you know, a lot of people grow up in America have that y'all, you know, don't take for granted. So there were things that we did that were important to keep the family. But no matter what was going on out there in the world, there was a warmth of a family. And because there's a lot of generational homes in Jamaica, grandparents, aunts, uncles, you know, people living together in one home, there is this warmth of family. So for me, in my own family, that's what I wanted to create. I didn't want it to be where he doesn't want to come home.
Been there before.
Like, there's nothing worse than knowing that your man finishes work at 5 and it's 8:30 and he's just coming in.
Right.
It's because he doesn't want to come home. You know, he works from home, so he's generally always home. But even when he's out, you know, if he knows that I'm making dinner, he might step out for an hour or two, but he's generally home so we can have dinner together and we can have that family time and we can do that. Because for me, it's like I should be his safe place. And I think for a lot of men in relationships, their partners are just as combative as the outside world. So why wouldn't I just be running in these streets?
Yeah, I mean, but I've said that to you, not, and again, you're not like the worst at about it or nothing, but like, I'm not about to fight you to be with you. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, and I think sometimes a lot of women expect a man to fight with them to be with them, and that's just asking way too much, in my opinion. Like, that's craziness.
And I think because there's a test, there's test of loves. You know, if he loves me, he will do this. And the problem is a lot of these men are going to fail the test. Because the reality is, to me, I've always been the person of like, I sometimes don't know what I'm going to do. I'm 41 years old and there are days like situations that happen. I'm like, how am I supposed to deal with this? So how in the world is he supposed to figure out what I'm thinking and how to then react to what I'm thinking? And then to me, it's too much. So our very direct communication, we cut out all the bullshit. There's no fluff. There's no whatever. This is what's wrong with me. This is what I'm telling you did to make this wrong with me. Yes, I know that I'm tripping in some of this, but let me have my moment. But this is how we're going to move forward with it.
For sure. But I mean, that also allows for a lot of fun too. Like, cause one of my favorite things is sometimes our sarcasm is like, like shots fired off this bitch. Like, it was really like some whoa, okay, but like, you ever had somebody take a shot at you and it made you laugh? You're like, well, damn, you know, even when we're being sarcastic sometimes, like the banter, it's very comical because it's things that I think sometimes, and if there isn't that level of comfort of like, okay, this person is not gonna just go run and hide in a cave when I say something they don't like. Like, it allows there a lot of flexibility in the conversations that you can have. Like, we talk about some wild stuff together.
We'll talk about them in some other shows, but we definitely talk about.
You are not like really worried about a person being like, again, we all judge, like, let's not front, but there's like that judgment of like, ew, like, and in the dating scene sometimes it really comes across like that. Like, it's just like, wow, like, that one thing just made you unattractive, you know. And honestly, I can't even cap. I've experienced that. Sometimes it can be that one thing that's just like, ooh, if it's we like what we like, we ain't messing with what we ain't messing with.
Well, this is why within 10 days of meeting and being in a relationship, we had shared a lot.
Yeah,
there was a lot of ups, but it's because it was just like, this is who I am. I put it all out on the table. I'm 40 years old. If you can't like who I am right now, then like, this is a waste of time. I'm not about to do this, because the real talk, I'm not changing who I am. It took me years, even as a woman, to own all of this. I had to deal with some of the crap that weren't going to make me successful in a relationship, and I had done that. So I now knew that I could be the type of woman that a man like him could be with. And so here you go. Here's everything that you have to know about me. Like, I put everything on the table. And so did he. And so, I mean, for me, it's like, this whole playing game and playing games, there's certain things, and if you don't watch Kevin Samuels, we're going to talk for like 30 more seconds, and we're going to answer like 2 questions. Because we got to go. Thank you, people who have been joining. Here's the thing about Kevin Samuels, if you haven't watched his show, when he gets women on the show, he asks them questions because they talk about they want high-value men, and he says, if you find if you find a high-value man and you have babies with him, what percentage of the household bills do you want to pay? And women on that question, and they go around and they ask him, define it, can you spell it, use it in a sentence, instead of, being honest. When we had that conversation, I said to him, I want to pay $0. If I have a choice in a relationship, I want to contribute $0. I am not signing up to be a roommate. I'm signing up to be your woman and future wife. So if you think you're going to turn around to me on the 29th and ask me for the half of the mortgage or half of anything, you are kidding me. I can go and live with my friends if I want that, and I live by myself. So it was very clear. I'm paying $0. But part of that was also that I was going to be responsible for 100% of the household. I cook, I clean, I do the laundry, I take care of the kids, I do all of that. That was the trade-off. But I pay $0.
I'm offended when she asks me to do stuff sometimes. I'd be like...
No, he'd be straight like, because I was cussing him yesterday because we have this glass coffee table and he keeps putting his damn drink on the coffee table and it leaves a ring. So he was cussing me out the way out the door. I'm like, what you say?
But then talking about y'all and like, man. I was just like, man, whatever.
But it works for us. And again, it's what works for you. And I think if you're open and honest about what works, it works. So like all of this capping in relationships and all of this, women trying to be pick me energy. There were a lot of men who didn't want to pick me. It was ludicrous to some men that I said that I wanted to pay $0 because before the whole pandemic, I would have been considered a high value man. I made really good money, the pandemic and everything, but that's another story. But I was one of those women who made the good money and did all those things. So this idea that I'm coming in saying I'm paying $0 was offensive to a lot of men. He was like, bet. But it was like bet. But here is the conditions of what that looks like.
One, and two, it's like I could see who she was. I could see like she wasn't saying I'm gonna give up on my ambition or my goals or my dreams. Like she still looks at it like she's eventually gonna be the breadwinner, and I'm supportive of that. Like again, she started making more money than me. We can sit down at the table and renegotiate.
Because we have basically like a relationship contract. We haven't thought if it's not writing, but we literally have a relationship contract.
And we gotta sit back down
and revisit what it looks like, right? And I think that's the thing.
That's so like, and the way that our circumstances and our contract, for lack of a say, how it lets me move in the streets and in my career and my individual goals and my family goals and all of that, it's like I wouldn't even have it any other way at this point, And the second part of that is like, she takes me out on dates. She takes me to dinner.
I do take you on dates. I go up and I buy things, and I'm not me.
No pesos or nothing like that. It just means that like she can purely allocate her financial gains how she wants to run them. And me, it's like long as you flicking the lights and we don't got the police knocking on the door saying we gotta get out like that. She doesn't really come at me about how I move financially. You know what I'm saying? So again, it works. Her and my daughter, they 20 me to death. You know what I mean? Like I need $20 for this. I need $20 for that. And it's like, they're like, what I'm gonna do? I gotta take care of that. But it doesn't bother me because the peace of mind that it gives me running things like that and the lack of like mouth and jaw. I see how it makes them feel. For real. Like there's a certain like pride and like, let's go spend some of daddy money. You know
Pretty
what I
much.
mean?
We
Like,
spend a lot of debt.
and it's again, so I understand finances is the number one reason why people don't make it, but it really should not be if y'all are really on a level. But if you're really good with money and she's really bad with money and y'all don't never come to no common ground, then yeah, finances is gonna split y'all up.
And again, we talk for the most part about everything. I don't when he's got his thing, I let him do his thing. You know, there isn't really a democracy in our relationship. And that's fine, because there isn't necessarily a democracy in how I run this house. I don't like that. I run the house how I want it in my crazy Jamaican ways, as he likes to say. I don't want no shoes in my house, or no must do this, or no must do that, or no must do this, and all these rules, and both of them follow them. So there isn't necessarily a democracy in what. So this idea of 50-50, yeah, we have 50-50, but it's 100% me in the house and 100% him, what he does in these streets. So we're quickly going to do this quick question and answer. I think we've got like a couple of 2 minutes.
Couple quick ones.
Pick one. Yeah, pick one. We're just, if anybody does have any questions, they can ask. But oh Lord, I don't even want to know. I don't want to know the question.
Good behavior. What superpower do you wish you could have?
Are you going to answer that, or you want me to answer that?
I'm gonna give it to you because it's a representation of our relationship.
You know what?
Particular superpower.
You know what
it doesn't really fit me.
Listen. The superpower I would have is white privilege. I don't want to fly, okay? I don't want to be able to see through x-rays. I don't want none of that. If somebody were to give me a superpower, I want white woman privilege, okay? Because that superpower, white woman privilege can get you through spaces and places you wouldn't know. So if I had to choose a superpower, it would be white woman privilege. I'm just saying.
Nancy Pelosi.
That's all I say. White woman privilege. Okay. This is.
And that's not even shady.
It's no shade, but it's some truth. Like white woman privilege. Okay. That was supposed to be. I was supposed to drink. Have you ever cheated on someone? Oh, you're answering, right?
No, it was your question.
Have I ever? Hold on, but you picked it. Okay. Have you ever cheated on someone? I have emotionally cheated. Definitely have emotionally cheated because I wasn't getting what I want, and so then I would find someone to give me emotion when I needed. And I think I physically cheated in my first relationship when I was 16 to 18 and a half, almost 19. So I did cheat in my first relationship, but other than that, it was like emotional cheating. I feel too guilty. Like, I have to come home and do... Please, first of all, there needs to be no cheating because we'll have a whole other topic about other things. So I guess I choose one now and I will ask it. So two more people and then we're done. What do you think our most important similarity is? That's actually a good one, but you talked about that, about our political ideology and how we saw things. Okay, so then that one does work. Wakanda forever. Okay, so I'll ask a new one. What do you love most about our relationship? That's a good one.
Our just dynamic, because again, it ain't just in our relationship, especially because again, we live in Phoenix right now. I don't know if y'all know much about Phoenix or you've been out here, but it's a big city, 6, almost 7 million people, but it's 3.5% African American. So yeah. Now, population-wise, 3.5%, 6 million is still a nice number of black folks. 180,000. The ratios is all jacked up out here. You know what I'm saying? So it get real interesting sometimes. But with that being said, how we move out here in public, white people love us too.
White people do love us. For real. They actually come up to us and say, "You guys are such a beautiful couple," and of course, how tall are you? And
our dynamic out in public even is I think we got good energy between the two of us when we write. We can get real funky too.
Oh, we can get real. Again, I'm Jamaican, and
I can too. Just.
Oh yeah, you're a tourist.
Yeah.
Last question, and thank you, God, thank you guys so much for joining.
We appreciate you so much. We're gonna wrap it up in a second.
What's the question?
Who is more inclined to be jealous, you or me? Well,
me.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer. Anybody that knows me knows I'm not very jealous. I'm a Taurus. She is a Scorpio. She's very jealous. Sometimes jealous about things, and I'm like, Are you serious? Like,
But here's the
you watched the show without me.
but here.
I cheated on the show. I cheated on Netflix.
But here's the thing. I'm not jealous when it comes to like other women. We'll have a whole other show about why. I know he's not deaf, dumb, and blind, okay, at all. So I don't expect, because we're in a relationship, all of a sudden his man parts don't work and he's not going to find other women attractive. I find other women attractive. So it's another thing that we have in common. Woo, that's a whole other show, which will probably be next week. But I am inclined to be a little jealous. So, and again, he's just kind of stalked sometimes. And he's the type of woman, if you're a man, if you're an emotional woman, like, my partner needs to show that, you know, he loves me through his jealousy. Yeah, no.
He did none of that.
He won't. He won't be the one. I got one more, and then if no one has any questions for us, we will see you next week, because this has been fun.
And we hit double digits tonight, y'all. So
I know, we're so proud of us.
Humble beginnings, every step matters. Like I said, honestly, we would have sat here and talked to nobody but me and her, signing on our personal accounts, like just kicking it. But thank you so much, man. I hope y'all enjoyed. I hope y'all, kind of, let's turn this to a little micro movement. You know what I mean?
Black
get
couples
people to call in. We're going to be taking call-ins eventually. Like, we hope we get some of, like, the Kevin Samuels crazy bras to call in. And help us go viral with some of that stupid shit they be saying on there. Like, all that.
Okay, one last question. I guess I'm going to ask you, what do you find sexiest about me? Yeah, what do you find sexiest about me?
Yeah, wrong.
Oh my god! Oh, sick now. It's all them hiking. It's all them hikings and like
Mr.
squats
London with
and
the funny music in the morning. Ooh.
That was a good answer. And with that, we're going to say thank you very much for joining the first episode of Fuck Your Feelings. Thank you for joining. Honestly, all of my hard work, because I have been stressing him out for quite a long time. So I'm glad that people have joined. We will definitely see you next week. I hope he comes back next week. If not, I'll be doing the show with the empty chair, which sometimes...
Like, fuck your photo shoot. That
pretty much.
Dying.
So, I set up a photo shoot after our other show, Not Your Typical Girl Talk, and essentially waited in the room forever. And so I just started taking photos with the empty chair to represent where he would have sat. So that's basically my life is pretty much fuck your whatever the hell, because he does what he does when he wants to do it. So there's no forcing him. I live with it. Welcome to my world. Welcome to our life.
Thanks, Dev, man.
Thank you, everybody.
Man, I appreciate you coming.
Thank you, Navigating. Thank you, Garcia.
You could have been anywhere,
but you were here with us.
Word
so
up.
thank you. We appreciate you. We love you all, and we will see you next week. Bye, everybody.
That was fantastic. That was so much fun.
And I'm an idiot because I turned it around. Bye.
What are you doing? We're back on.
I'm ending it.